answer later in the programme. Marian Sambeva lives in Astana, the capital of Kazakhstan, a country where people eat on average 17 grams of salt a day. That's more than 3 times the amount recommended by the WHO. Here, Marianne explains some of the reasons behind this to BBC World Service programme The Food Chain.
We consume lots of salt, which is due to historical heritage, because when we were nomads, for centuries and centuries, we traveled and wandered across the steppes, and here we had to carry lots of meat, which could be preserved only adding salt. And even the milk products, the dairy products, are also very much salty for the same reasons.
Besides improving its flavour, salt can be used to preserve food, to stop it from going bad. Traditionally, people in Kazakhstan were nomads. They travelled from place to place with their animals rather than living in one place all the time. Treating food with salt gave them enough to eat during the long winter months. They even did it with dairy products, foods which are made from milk, such as cheese and butter.
So, salt has a long and useful history, but there's a big difference between traditional Kazakh nomads and the health problems associated with modern processed food. When we eat too much salt, the body dilutes it by retaining water. And as a result, the heart works harder to pump liquid around the body. This causes high blood pressure, which, over time, can lead to heart disease.
Globally, governments are fighting this health risk in different ways. The Australian government reduced its recommended salt intake to 6 grams a day, while the British government has passed laws forcing food companies to reduce the amount of salt they use, and now recommends just 5 grams of salt per day.
Claire Collins is Professor of Nutrition at the University of Newcastle in Australia. Here, she explains more about these salt recommendations to BBC World Service programme The Food Chain.
I think you just got to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Like arguing whether it should be 5 grams or 6 grams, the issue is that around the world, salt intakes are very high, contributing to high blood pressure, contributing to premature strokes, premature mortality, and we need to address it in a way that's culturally appropriate for each country.
Instead of arguing over grams of salt, Professor Collins thinks we should take a step back and look at the bigger picture. She uses 2 idioms: take a step back, which means to temporarily withdraw from a situation in order to think about it more calmly, and look at the bigger picture, to consider the overall meaning of something, not just the details.
Yes, the problem remains that overconsumption of salt is causing premature health problems which are happening sooner than they should. By limiting salt and processed food, most people can enjoy long, healthy lives. And if you don't like your food unsalted, try adding herbs and spices instead.
Well, speaking of salty foods, I think it's time to reveal the answer to my question, Neil. If you remember, I asked you which everyday food contains